We have 7 board members present. Fort Smith Public Schools school board meetings are open to the public. However, audience members are not permitted to speak or interrupt the meeting in any way. Anyone choosing to disrupt the meeting will be asked to leave immediately. Our district mission statement states that we are to equip all students with the skills to be productive members of society. And our vision statement is we are a destination district built on relationships, collaboration, and a culture of excellence. If you would, please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for our recognitions. Dr. Bone, if you would please introduce our recognitions for this evening.
Good evening, President Whitaker, Board. I'd like to say that this evening we have such an impressive list of recognitions, many of which would not be possible without our valued community partners. First on the list, we'd like to recognize Northside High School senior Anthony Mendez, we call him Mr. OG&E, who has been named a 2026 Positive Energy Scholar from OG&E. The Positive Energy Scholarship recognizes 3 high school seniors from OG&E's service area who demonstrate academic achievement, leadership, and commitment to their communities and plan to pursue a degree in the STEM field. The scholars receive $60,000 while attending college. Mr. Mendez, who plans to attend the University of Arkansas and major in mechanical engineering, is only one of 3 scholars selected as the 2026 OG&E Positive Energy Scholar from a competitive school of applicants across both Oklahoma and Western Arkansas. Congratulations again, Anthony Mendez. For this next recognition, I'd really like to be thankful to our community partner, the University of Arkansas at Fort Smith, and I'd like to ask Ms. Amanda Sadenzahl and Dr. Tanner, as well as Ms. Stephanie Freeman, to join us to hand out this recognition. As they come forward, I want you to understand that this is a truly special occasion as we celebrate 9 outstanding students who are earning their associate's degree at the same time as they receive their high school diplomas.
That's awesome.
As I call your name, please come up. Congratulations to the following students on this incredible achievement, earning their degrees in electronics technology from the University of Arkansas at Fort Smith. From Northside High School, we have Chris Barroso. Matthew Ortiz. Emilio Sanchez. Kevin Sedano. Kevin Sedano. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay.
They're going to find your sunglasses somewhere in the background.
It's Kevin Sedano. From Southside High School, we have Lucas White. Okay. Also from Southside High School, Hunter Gordon. And Nicolai Hernandez from Southside High School. There are also 2 students from Southside High School who are receiving their associate's degree in general studies. Congratulations to both Ethan Branson and Mark Brandon Rodriguez. We can get you all together for a group photo. All right, let's give these students one more round of applause, please, for their hard work. Thank you. And again, thank you to our partnership with the University of Arkansas at Fort Smith for helping to make this a reality. Next up, we have 15 of our schools who have been recognized as National Showcase Schools by the Capturing Kids' Hearts Institution. This annual honor celebrates administrators, teachers, and staff who have achieved outstanding results by implementing the Capturing Kids' Hearts process. As I call your school name, if you'll please come up. Ballman Elementary School. Beard Elementary School. Bonneville Elementary School. Carnell Elementary. Kavanaugh Elementary. Cook Elementary. Ufer Lane Elementary. Fairview Elementary. Howard Elementary. Park Elementary. Morrison Elementary. Morrison, okay. Spradling Elementary. Sutton Elementary. Tillis Elementary. And last but certainly not least, Woods Elementary, where the principal is having a birthday. Ms. Charlotte Whitson is here, and she's celebrating a birthday. Tomorrow. Oh, oops. Mea culpa. Congratulations. Thank you all. This concludes our recognitions for the evening. Let's give them all one last round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Bone. We now open the meeting for public comments. This is a designated time for community members to address the board on matters before us. We have one speaker for tonight. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. We welcome your input and encourage you to speak respectfully, avoiding statements about specific students or district staff members. Board members will listen to the citizen presentation but will not enter dialogue with the presenter or respond at the time of the presentation. The board may choose to discuss the issue presented at a later meeting, but is under no obligation to do so. The board will now hear from those who wish to make public comments. Cassie Vasher, Bashar, excuse me, 3 minutes.
I'm a proud parent and aunt of several well-behaved honor roll students here in the school district. Also the mother of special needs boys who I was planning on enrolling in the district. My Darby student was involved in the Code Red lockdown that happened on the 10th. My niece came home and informed us that a certain teacher was making jokes about this. I reported it. Come Tuesday, my daughter comes home and tells me that same teacher is still making comments, laughing about it with his other instructors. More troublesome than this, a certain individual from secondary education contacted me to investigate. Before he had even spoken to the involved students or the teacher, he tried to convince me that my students had not heard what they had heard and they were mistaken. When he could not convince me of that, and he finally finally interviewed some of the students, he called me back to say, yes, this was said, but went on to pretty much tell me I was making too big of a deal of it and that I was embarrassing my students, which is, I would say, why many students fail to speak up for issues like this. So I would like to know what of any of this is acceptable or professional. What's going to be done so that our students are not laughed at in a crisis? And what is going to be done that when our students step up and are brave enough to have a complaint, that they are listened to thoroughly before they're just dismissed and their concerns are pushed away? Because I'm at the point now, I no longer feel safe sending my students to school. I no longer feel safe enrolling my special needs student in this system if I feel like if an issue arises, we will not be listened to and they will not be taken seriously, and we just want to be silenced. As a parent, I cannot continue to send my children in this district unless I know that this is going to be handled seriously and not ever happen again. As a loving parent, I can't put my children through that. And those are all my comments. Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Mr. Mahan.
Good evening, Mr. President and board members. Hope you've had a great day on a very hot Monday. Got a few things in my superintendent's report. First thing, I want to draw your attention to a couple of consent agenda items. First of all, the administrative and classified 26-27 contracts are there for your approval. Also, you might check out a resolution for our charter school proposal at Bonneville, the Global Innovation Academy. This is a resolution that will take down to Department of Ed to be part of the process for applying for that charter school. Also planned on that note to give you a full update on the Global Innovation Academy in our May board meeting, some kind of where we're at. And we also have a meeting on May 21st with the charter approval panel in Little Rock, where we'll get to our next steps in the process. Also, as I've mentioned the last couple of months, we're planning to look at possibly bringing a bond for your approval in May. We're working on that currently, and we'll have more information in the May board meeting. Also, my performance goals, I will provide you a link to all the evidence and the artifacts I have, because my evaluation is May 26th. So hopefully I will get that to you this Friday, so you'll have plenty of time to kind of look at some of the artifacts in the system before you show up on May 26th. With that, a couple of updates. Goal 2.4 PITSCO. You'll hear a presentation on that today. I do want to make a slight change to that goal and pilot it at Bonneville Elementary first at our Global Innovation Academy instead of going district-wide. And also our 6.1 goal on a replacement cycle. I may plan to do a little pausing on that, and both of those situations are based on just kind of looking at our budget for next year and getting a full grasp of that as we get our enrollment numbers for next fall. Listening tour updates, just to give you an idea, we've completed 23 sites for listening tours. I plan to give a wrap-up report concerning themes toward the end of the year in a few weeks. We've also had 8 superintendent student advisory meetings, 4 community council meetings, and 4 parent council meetings, advisory council meetings, and 4 meet the superintendent events. So I've been out and about listening to lots of people and have gotten some good feedback specifically from the parent and community advisory I wanted to share with you. We had 22 people respond, and the first question was, do you feel heard and valued as an advisory member? And 22 out of 22 said yes. We also asked if the information was provided was timely and accurate and detailed enough, and out of 22, 21 answered yes for that response. But more importantly, we got a few suggestions that were good. We had a couple of compliments on just setting up the advisories this year and listening for feedback. But some of the feedback that we'll take and kind of add and make the process better was to send out the agenda ahead of time. That was good feedback. And also maybe look at having one parent from each campus as part of the advisory. So first year is a little bit smaller group. So I thought that was good advice, and we love the feedback from that. But I want to give you an update on the community advisory feedback that I've gotten from those 2 groups. Also, from the great, can't say it enough, great work of our communications team. You have your hard copy, I promised, of Goal 1.1, a comprehensive communications and marketing plan. We did a work session on that, if you remember, and I went through a thorough presentation of their great work. And so I wanted to give you that hard copy as your reference, as well as that can stand aside the hard copy of the financial work session we've been providing. Just want to put some things in your hand to reference back to. Also, as promised, I'll give you an update on the last Meet the Superintendent event, which was at the Bakery District. We discussed with about 20 people that showed up our best attended event of the 4 sessions. We talked, of course, about right sizing, enrollment, 3rd grade literacy, charter school at Bonneville, the Global Innovation Academy. Talked about school safety protocols, our health science academy, and our upcoming computer science academy at Chaffin. And even had some feedback around pursuing or considering looking at a fine arts academy at the middle school in the future, as we talk about what's next in academies in the future. And we also talked about bullying and counseling protocols at that meeting. So just want to share those things from my superintendent reports and jump into some good things or great things. First of all, Little Mermaid at Fairview Elementary recently brought the stage to life with a production of The Little Mermaid Junior. The memorable performance was made possible through a grant from the Fort Smith Public Schools Foundation, which we're very thankful for, and with parents and staff working together behind the scenes to create something that was truly special. It was an incredible show from start to finish. Mr. Reed has received another grant, to be sure, so be sure to stay tuned for what the performance will be next year. phenomenal work. As you all know, we recently had a playground ribbon cutting at Barling Elementary. Hopefully you've been out to see the nice playground additions at 6 of our campuses. This marks the completion of 6 elementary schools that we are currently underway with. And over the next 3 to 5 years, we anticipate touching every campus in the district with this new playground set. The kids are very pleased, so very exciting stuff. Cook Elementary Economics Project. Kindergarten students at Cook Elementary explored real-world economics by creating and selling flower carts. Along the way, they learned key economic concepts like supply and demand and scarcity, all while collaborating and having fun. Great work by both the teachers and the students. And then you got to love a great art show. Morrison Elementary held an art show. 42 Morrison Elementary students participated in the River Valley Student Art Competition this month, with 11 earning awards. We are proud of their creativity, talent, and dedication to their work. It's also an exciting time of year. We've been recognizing our staff across the board in every building for certified and classified. Finally, it culminated to the District Teacher of the Year and District Classified Employee of the Year. We'd like to congratulate our Classified Employee of the Year, Ms. Teresa Riggs at Northside, and Teacher of the Year, Ms. Melissa Purefoy at Darby. Ms. Riggs is known for always being the first to lend a hand. She was actually trying to help set up her own event. Didn't know it was her event, so they had to keep her out of the event. She is dependable, hardworking, and consistently goes above and beyond to support our students and our staff. Ms. Purefoy fosters a classroom environment where students feel comfortable asking questions and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. Her commitment reflects a true investment in the success of every student every day. Congratulations to both of these amazing staff members, and we're very proud of both of them, as we are of all the winners across the district and all the people that took time to recognize the great talent we have in this district. I'd like to congratulate Dr. Farrell and his team for another very successful Purple Up. This year's Purple Up event had a record attendance of 225 participants who gathered to honor and celebrate military-connected students and families. Thank you to everyone who helped make this event possible. Lots of people behind the scenes cooking, setting up, just a lot of teamwork to make it happen, make it a very special event. So very proud of our Fort Smith Public Schools team in making this a very memorable experience. As I mentioned earlier, we're very excited. Chaffin Computer Science Academy, Chaffin Middle School celebrated their first induction of students in its Computer Science Academy that will open up this fall. This milestone recognizes the inaugural class accepted into a competitive program where they will learn to explore real-world technology through projects in coding, robotics, and digital design. We are proud of these trailblazing students and excited to see what they accomplish in the future. That was such a very neat event to attend. Also, another neat event last week, we get to do a lot of fun things this time of year, but the Darby Health Science Academy white coat ceremony is truly one of those memorable moments. Students accepted into the Darby's prestigious Health Science Academy were honored with a special white coat ceremony. These are fifth graders that are moving into the academy starting next year. Each student earned their place through strong attendance, positive behavior, and academic excellence, meeting or exceeding Arkansas ACT Aspire standards in literacy and math. We're so proud of their hard work and their dedication. Very neat event. Also, just another example of synergy with our Fort Smith Public Schools Foundation Awards. Congratulations to our Q3 Foundation Recognition Award winners. The foundation recognized program honors employees who go above and beyond in their commitment to student success and educational excellence. Each quarter, we celebrate staff members who embody the district's values of teamwork, kindness, leadership, and continuous growth. Join us in celebrating these outstanding employees for their contributions to our great district. Ignite Award, Grace Kendi at Bonneville Elementary. Kind Counsel Award, Karen Vicens Nash at Northside High School. Everyday Leader Award, Coach Bradley Johnson at Darby Middle School. Very proud of their great work, and also very proud of the Fort Smith Public Schools Foundation's commitment to honoring our staff. And then finally, also always a great event to surprise some of our students with the Superintendent Star of the Month. We'd like to congratulate several for this month. Bryson Kramer from Bauman Elementary, also Kara Trong from Barling Elementary, Maylee Banning from Bonneville Elementary, Henley Lovelace from Upper Lane, Salma Cruz from Tillis Elementary, and Scarlett Williamson from Woods Elementary were recognized with that award this month, and that's always a very fun event. So that being said, I appreciate you all tonight. Any questions? That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mahan. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is voted up or down as a whole unless a board member asks to pull an item for individual consideration. We'll get it up on the board. I will need to excuse myself for item 8.5 as I am related to one of the individuals listed. So anything else? Yep, we'll need to pull 8.5, but we need to, any discussion for any other items that you guys may have?
8.3, I have a few questions on, if we can pull that one.
Sure. Anybody else? Ms. Kraft?
No, I'm just trying to find 8.3.
That's the staffing, professional staff recommendations.
So as it stands currently, we can vote on the consent agenda with the removal of 8.3 and 8.5. Do I have a motion to entertain?
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 8.3 and 8.5 to be discussed.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Kraft, second by Mr. Hall. Any further discussion? Oh, Mr. Harding, I apologize. Mr. Harding, no further discussion. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. That is in favor of 7-0. All opposed, there are none. We can go ahead and chat about 8.3, or at least entertain conversation. I'll excuse myself for 8.5. So, Mr. Harding?
Yeah, a couple of questions I have. Just reviewing the report, I noticed several night custodians, and I was just wondering the reason for that, if there's something that's changed or if that's normal this time of year. I don't know if Mr. Mahan, if you can speak to that, or one of your staff.
Yes, it's, I don't know if it's normal, but it's somewhat normal for this time of year. We start to see some changes in some of our classified staff. Some of them are specific to some personal welfare, and also some are due to a transition to one is due to a transition to a trade school, and one is due to a higher paying position outside the district. So some I want to say somewhat normal. It's a little higher than normal, but it's not out of the ordinary to have this many this time of year.
Okay. Another question is on the resignations or separations. I noticed about 40 total, 23 for certified, 16 for classified. And this is probably more for Dr. Davis, and sorry to put you on the spot, but where does this fit in with normal other years? And I'm assuming this time of year we get a lot of resignations and end of school year.
It's a good question.
Where does this year fit into past years?
So we're still running a few statistics. We're still tracking as of April 1, 96% retention of certified staff as of April 1, and 90% retention of classified staff as of April 1. And those numbers are 6 to 8 points higher than where we were tracking this time last year, which is a positive note. Now, there's still a long way to go between now and some of the conclusion of the 25-26 school year. Some employees will not close the books on 25-26 until the very end of June, and they would still count on the 25-26 school year, so that calendar doesn't turn over until July 1. So we're still monitoring this. We put those numbers together once a month, and that's where they fell as of April 1.
And on the reason, remind me again what separation means?
So a separation is a term that is not a resignation, which is a voluntary withdrawal of the position or a retirement. So in these particular instances, these were contract-related issues that an employee chose not to sign their contract within the board policy 15 days, and so that is then considered a rejection of the employment offer. Now, what I will tell you is that the individuals in question will be later presented. They were still working out terms of maybe they were looking at an additional duty or resigning an additional duty, and which would be a coaching position or a robotics sponsorship position, and so they didn't feel comfortable signing a contract under the current terms.
So retirement is combined with personal, is that correct?
Ask that one more time.
So the reason for leaving, where does retirement fit in as far as the reason?
So actually, retirements is a separate tab. The
okay.
resignations are, if they tell us a reason, there's now a drop down on the form that tells us if they're relocating or if it's for personal reasons. And so that's just an employee self-selected option that they've given us.
Okay. I did not scroll down far enough, so.
Yes.
That would help, thank you. Yeah. That was all the questions I had, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Hall?
I'm glad that you decided to pull it because I was going to. So I was going back because I wanted to, and I spoke with Mr. Mahan, asking him some questions on this earlier and about comparison data, and I couldn't find it. He kind of explained where I could go look from past board meetings. I just wanted to compare like March and April to March and April, and I wanted to go back 3 years kind of thing. I haven't been able to do that yet because it's in a new spot and I got to go search for it. But I would like information on personal, specifically that reason for the last 3 years. I'm interested in just the personal, not the resignation, not the not the separation or relocation, but those that have listed the reason as not renewing a contract as personal.
I want to make sure that I'm getting the right information for you. Just the number of individuals that selected personal as the reason for their separation or their resignation?
Yes, so like this year we have 47 in that resignation separation category, right? So just how many of the 47, this is just the example for this year, how many of the 47 selected personal? So then let's go back to last year's contract.
Certainly.
Time period for March, April, and then how many of, say there was 48 last year, how many of the 48 said personal?
Certainly.
Okay.
We can provide that information. With an asterisk, this is the first year that we've given the employee the option to select their reason. It was usually just a retirement or a resignation, and then the reason was either if they told us what was happening, we wrote that in because it became really hard to tell if an employee was leaving because they got a new job. So we just made that something that they could tell us. This is the first year where they actually would self-select that. In previous years, if it wasn't an obvious relocation, say they were moving to a different school district out of this area, then it was just generically personal. So
That's not going to be any good. That doesn't do any good.
So the number will go down because we've gotten better. So, but I do want to put that asterisk there. So.
Would you be able to include like schools, like which schools have a higher personal reason of why these teachers leaving in a specific role or area? Would that be more helpful to kind of see how?
We do have that information. It does become challenging because a campus that, not all of our campuses have individuals that separate, and I'm using separate in the generic term. That could be a retirement, a resignation, or an actual separation. So some campuses that are smaller, they may not have one for a couple of years, and then there are our larger campuses that have 40 or 50 staff, that those numbers may be higher. And so we do take those things into consideration, but we do track our separations by campus.
It's specifically like specific titles, like a certain teacher grade that are just like areas where there's a high turnover, or people are, leaving it more often.
Certainly. And we track those, and we provide information as needed, especially when we're looking at employee engagement surveys and sharing that information with principals, exit surveys and exit interview data that we share with principals and that they share with us. We review that information with them.
Would you be able to present some future board meeting, kind of a report, an aggregate of exit survey data and compared to previous years?
Certainly. In years past, we've presented that in September. That gives us a little bit of time to close the books on the 25-26 school year, give that information to the principals, the directors, curriculum instruction, process that, and then a report or an update is usually presented in the September timeframe. I can't remember exactly when.
That's what I was going to say. You gave us a really good report on all of that information.
Seems like it's been, not
Yeah.
quite a year ago.
Yeah.
So as we get into that September time, we've just gotten school started, September, October.
Yeah, that was a great report, and you had a lot of really good data from that exit survey, so that
Certainly.
would be great.
Mr.
You guys just weren't here for that yet, so it was really good though.
Just a quick question regarding, I noticed on the list of resignations for personal reasons, it seemed like there were several in the band category. I know there was a gentleman from Kimmons maybe that had 12 years experience or 9 years, and then of course several from Southside. Any thoughts or opinions or concerns on how we make sure that the band programs obviously don't slip, or are we filling those positions? Are we having trouble filling those positions? Just kind of any kind of general thoughts on that?
Certainly. We are in the process of filling those positions right now. I'm very encouraged. I do believe that there is under new employee hires, there's one, a very, very talented and capable gentleman that's getting ready to, with approval, to take the helm at Chaffin Middle School. I'm also very excited that we have had a lot of interest in those positions. Some cases, 50 applications for one position, which is very good for one position. We may have 80, 85 or 90 positions for all of our elementary teaching spots to fill 20 or 30 positions, but to have 40 or 50 applications for those positions is a really strong number. So really excited about that, and hopefully interviews are ongoing because we just try to get those things done as quickly as we can. I do believe there's interviews happening sometime for the assistant positions that are, and then as well as the position that you're referring to at Kimmons.
Okay.
So that one was expected, and I'm very excited for that young man to be able to go and continue his work in graduate school.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else? Comments, discussion? That being said, we will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda item only 8.3. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mr. Garner.
Second.
Second by Mr. Harding. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. It passes with a unanimous vote of 7-0, 0 opposed. And Ms. Kraft, if you would help us navigate through consent agenda item 8.5 as I excuse myself.
We will all watch you walk out of the room. Yes, moonwalk your way to the lobby, please, sir. And I think by rule, we have to wait until he's all the way out of the room. Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda. Well, wait, we have questions about 8.5. Do we do that first, or do we do a motion to approve in second? Motion first. Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda item 8.5.
Motion to approve 8.5.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Lott, right on it. Now, is there any discussion on 8.5? Seeing none, we will take a vote. All those in favor of approving consent agenda item 8.5, please raise your right hand. That passes for a vote of 6-0. Now we can let Mr. Whitaker back in and all watch him walk back to his seat. Should we apply? Thank you, Mr. McGuire.
To discuss and consider the list of compliant names submitted during the remaining process of the service, or excuse me, the renaming process of the Service Center. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, you remember a couple of months ago, we had a group of individuals from the community has a desire to name this facility after Dr. Benny Gooden, longtime, very successful, influential superintendent. So what we have done is we've worked with Marshall now, and Marshall is on the Zoom, by the way, to make sure we follow the policy as it's written. And Dr. Bone with a committee made up of Ms. Hall and Dr. Davis and Mr. Warren have worked together to present this, put this proposal in front of you tonight. So Dr. Bone, it's all yours.
Thank you, Superintendent Mahan, President Whitaker, and Board. Tonight, we come back before you to the next step for renaming the Service Center, if you should so desire to do that. I don't know if I'm clicking wrong or what's going on here. I'm trying to click. There you go. So just to take you back, as Mr. Mahan said earlier this year, we did have some citizens come forth and ask us about renaming the Service Center, and our voluntold committee started meeting in March, and we met to discuss how we would formulate this process. We decided then that we were going to send out solicitation to all of the public. We constructed a form, sent it out to everyone, and then we vetted the names through policy 7.21. The compliant names were then published for a period of 30 days, and they were published on our website. You can click on any of that on your presentation, and it can take you to those compliant names. So the very next steps after we have vetted those names, we got them. I did email everyone who made a submission, let them know whether their name was accepted or not and the reason why, and let them know where they could find the list of compliant names, and then we published those for the 30 days. So the next steps are tonight, you're going to study those published names. So you should have in your packet a spreadsheet that has the list of names that were submitted, the reasons why they were submitted, and the fact that the next meeting we have will be the next call meeting to make a decision. But the very next steps are to really look at the 53 compliance submissions. Of the 53 submissions, 33 were for Dr. Benny Gooden. The rest were as follows. You had 3 for the Ray Baker Service Center, 5 people who didn't want to change, 2 for the Wayne Haver Service Center, and then the rest were each individual submissions, and you'll see within your packet. So now, at this point, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Whitaker, to lead the discussion, after which time you should open the floor for public comment, following our regular rules of engagement for public comment. Questions for me?
Thank you, Dr. Bone. Ms. Lott.
So do we have any idea, proceeding with this, the amount of money that this would cost to change it, regardless of who may or may not be chosen?
Yes, so I believe we got that question earlier, and I'm going to ask Mr. Schaefer to come up for a second because he knows exactly how much a sign costs to redo, and we're going to give you that cost. The other costs are minimal, such as like our business cards and our stationery. Typically, we print a lot of the stationery ourselves, but our business cards we renew every year anyway, so it's not going to be an additional cost.
Good evening, school board. Okay, so I want to talk about the current sign that sits in the flower bed in front of Building A. And then we'll talk about the marquee that's out towards the road. So that sign was just recently installed. So the metal panels that kind of wrap around that sign in front of Building A was about $10,000. The steel, the framing, was about $3,000. The lettering on that sign was about $2,000. So with that being said, there are a couple of variables that we can take into consideration. We can completely redo the sign. I think the structural steel could stay in place if we want to attack just that one sign. There could be an option of me just putting something above that sign that possibly could sit there. And then the marquee out by the street, that sign there costs $200 as the way it stands. So there's several variables on the sign out front that we could change. But if we just remove the lettering on the sign out front, I'll also have to remove the panels because there's holes that are drilled in those letters.
Can you give an
are mounted, too.
approximate range, just approximate range of cost?
So that complete sign out front was about 15K. So we go less the 3,000 because of the structural steel is already there. So if you did the metal panels and the lettering, it's about 12,000.
So now that was current cost when it was installed, though, correct? Or was it-
Correct, and it was about 6-8 months ago, somewhere.
Okay,
right
so it's
there.
fairly
Yeah.
recent. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
I just didn't know.
So
if
cost
didn't-
escalation,
Yeah, I was
there
thinking-
could be some now with kind of what's going on in the world, but it's not going to be.
Minimal, okay.
Yes.
I just didn't, if that was put in 2005, then obviously.
Okay, is this, I'm looking at this picture here. This is up to date, correct? Okay, so could, the whole front of it is blank at the very top. Could letters just not be added to that and do nothing? Would that be an option? And God goodness, I may be adding cost to something, I don't know, but.
So yeah, there's
Yeah,
lettering
like
that
just
could be added to
to
the to that one
the
building.
top of the building.
So then that one building, Building A, then would have the name, and then you'd have a sign that sits out in front of the building that just says Service Center.
Yes.
So it's
yeah.
just kind of
like
the.
Not
what-
change the service center, but then just add the name to the top.
Yeah. So yeah, there are different variables that we could look at, so, to keep the cost up or down.
Anyone else?
Related to that, and I should know this, isn't there a policy as to where this money can and cannot come from? Okay. Because it would be my preference that this is something that maybe is sponsored or donated. I don't know if we need to use capital funds or operational funds. This is not absolutely necessary, and I feel like Dr. Gooden would say that to us if he were here. He's a very frugal guy, and so I want to make sure we're smart about where the money comes from.
I think that's a good option, is if it is approved next month, that the approval could be based on pursuing a sponsor or donations, and use private funds for that, because it's a unique situation, and I think Dr. Gooden would agree with that as well.
I know it seems short notice. I mean, obviously, we're going to meet in the next 30 days for our next scheduled board meeting. But if there are 33 that have presented one, and there are 3 that have submitted another, and 5 that have submitted another, it seems as if there may be some of those folks who are at least interested in ponying up some cash for this endeavor. And so that said, I don't know what it looks like to entertain conversations with those, prior to, for any name listed, just to say that should this move forward, or is there any sort of commitment beforehand? Because I would hate to continue to have a conversation tonight and then for us to, dwell on it for the next 30 days. And then when it comes down to it, should we not decide to, use the district money, then we've just spent a lot of time having a conversation for not. So, anyway, just a thought or an idea, but do we have who submitted these, or are these?
I don't know that I put that on there. I did email everyone who made a submission, but I don't know if we have the name of who submitted. I have the names of who submitted, absolutely, and their personal contact information.
And I wonder if there could at least be some casual conversation made in between now and then.
Sure.
Yep.
One question, non-financial, to consider is really the impact. So we have 33 that submitted for Dr. Benny Gooden, 20 plus, 20, 25 that were against, if you will, whether no name or a different name. And so what benefit to the students, considering students only, what benefit to the students would this be to name the building after Dr. Benny Gooden? But then also, contrary, what would the district have to deal with from a community standpoint from those, even though minority, but for those who don't want that building named after them? So thinking is it benefit the students at all, and would we be prepared for both sides of the conversation?
I don't believe I can answer the question with any other response than this was an organic recommendation that came from the community. So it's hard for me to answer that. It actually should be probably answered by those that brought this forward to follow that policy.
And I know we were given a packet of all of their letters, and I've read through some. So several board meetings ago, they submitted their reasons, and is much appreciated. But even beyond cost, there is the I guess, initial wave of either praise or discontent with it that we'd have to be prepared for.
Sure, all good thoughts. Anybody else? Thank you, Dr. Bone. Again, this is a presentation-only item for this evening, and no action is required at this time. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yes, we do have a guest that's scheduled to speak. My sincerest apologies. Dr. Bone, if you would.
The process was to discuss each of the names and decide what you wanted, and then open it up for public comment, just to follow the board process. So
you need us, I'm not on, you need us to discuss and then decide on one?
you don't decide tonight.
Okay.
You're just kind of discussing what was presented and what their rationale was publicly, and then allow everyone else to come up and speak if there's anyone who wanted to. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Just let me read this one more time, just to cover our tracks here. We will listen to this citizen participation, but obviously not enter any dialogue with the presenter as such. And of course, we can choose to have conversations about this, but are under no obligation to do so. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Whitaker, members of the board, Mr. Mahan, for allowing me to speak to you. I want to express my strong support for naming the Fort Smith Public School Service Center in honor of former Superintendent Benny Gooden. Dr. Gooden had 3 decades of leadership that left an enduring and transformative impact on our school system, our community, and the field of public education as a whole. Dr. Gooden served the Fort Smith Public Schools with an unwavering commitment to students, families, and staff. His influence extended far beyond our city. He was recognized regionally and nationally, culminating in his service as president of the American Association of School Administrators, a clear reflection of his vision, professionalism, and exceptional leadership. Throughout his tenure, Dr. Gooden championed innovative, student-centered programs. Under his guidance, opportunities in advanced placement, the arts, athletics, and student activities steadily expanded and improved. He recognized that every student deserves access to high-quality, well-supported programs, and he worked tirelessly to ensure those opportunities were available. Dr. Gooden also extended steadfast support to all district employees, certified and non-certified alike. He was a mentor to administrative staff at every level, encouraging professional growth, continuing education, and the pursuit of excellence. His advocacy for staff development strengthened the district and helped cultivate a culture of continual improvement. As a devoted supporter of school activities and extracurricular programs, Dr. Gooden ensured that facilities and equipment needs were consistently addressed. His commitment to providing students and staff with the resources they needed contributed greatly to the success and pride of our school community. Naming the Fort Smith Public School Service Center in honor of Dr. Benny Gooden would be a fitting and meaningful tribute to a leader whose legacy continues to shape our district. His vision, dedication, and service set a standard that will inspire future generations. Thank you.
We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate your dedication to our community for so many years as well, too. So, anybody else?
President Whitaker, Mr. Mahan, thank you, Dr. Owen, for your kind words. We followed the process carefully as it's been outlined, and I think we've done a good job with every step of the way. If I was doing my math correctly, we had 53 submissions. 33 of them were for Dr. Gooden. That's 62%. The only American president we've ever had elected with 62% was George Washington, who ran unopposed the first 2 times. 60% would actually break a filibuster in the Senate. So I think that says something. And I also don't think that people who maybe put forth something for Dr. Gooden were against somebody else, or someone who put something for Ray Baker. What a wonderful man, Mr. Haver. All these people were against somebody else. That's just their thoughts in their citizens' participation in this. Back to what was said before, maybe about raising funds, I don't think that would be a problem with anyone who had that happen if district funds weren't forthcoming, and that needed, if we decided the taxpayers needed to do that, that's a good idea, and I think we could certainly reach out and do it. But I think that really says something when it was put out there, and 62% of the people that responded for one person. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Anybody else? That being said, board members, any other conversations, questions you may have?
The only thing I have, and I'm sure you guys have probably I haven't talked to Dr. Gooden about this since it was first proposed. And of course, he had a smart aleck remark, I'm not dead yet. But I do want to make sure in the next 30 days that we do talk to Dr. Gooden and make sure that he is comfortable should we choose to move forward, and that he does feel good about it. And I'm sure he does, but I want to make sure that we have those good conversations with him as well.
So the rest of the process is that we leave it open until the next regular called or special board meeting, in which time you can make a decision to either vote for one of the names, decide not to do anything, or ask to put the search back out there, whichever one you choose.
Well, we appreciate that, and I do appreciate the district and previous board member and president person just making sure that we do follow proper legal protocols throughout this entire process, because I know that I don't think any current member of the board has been a part of a naming process like this, and so I appreciate our admin team in our district making sure that we're crossing T's and dotting I's in all these moments. So, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Dr. Bowman.
Thank you.
Again, presentation and information item only, no action is required. We'll now consider adopting the Portrait of a Graduate Framework. Mr. Mahan.
Good evening again. This is goal 2.6, and just want you to know we've done some work over the last several months of defining what are some of the skills, what are some of the professional skills, soft skills, some of the terminology changes from year to year. But what are some of those things we want our kids to walk off the stage and have kind of in their tool belt of things that make them employable or ready for enrollment or enlistment? However, I will tell you, this is just the portrait of a graduate. This is just the beginning. The actual kind of integration into the Fort Smith Public Schools way will take probably 3 to 5 years. So this is establishing kind of the expectation for a portrait of graduate, and then the next steps will be to get a committee together to start working out to identify where these traits are in our standards and how they can be emphasized by a coach or a director or a teacher or any member of our staff on a consistent basis throughout the tenure of our student in our district. So just want to begin with what does it look like. And if you look around the country at these types of models, you'll see some very similar verbiage. And I won't read each one of you, but I will read each of the categories. The Portrait of a Graduate, in our surveys and gathering feedback from advisories and students and parents and staff, we've found that these categories stood out. The category of character, integrity, personal responsibility and work ethic, communication and collaboration, academic knowledge and thinking, life and career readiness, and innovation and problem solving were the top areas that got the most attention. And you can read kind of the sub sections under each of those that stood out from the people we talked to. These are things we want to see from students as they leave the high school. We had 702 respondents at different listening sessions or advisory meetings or surveys, and just wanted to break down how those categories kind of came to the forefront so you can see how they rose. You can see character integrity was very close to the top, with personal responsibility and work ethic being right there as well. Then just break down who responded to our survey. You can see the employee number, our student number, also parent of a current student, a resident, a graduate, and even breakdown of community partner, mentor, or volunteer, and then some parents of past graduates. You break down some of the numbers. And then it gets me back to the overall portrait of a graduate. These are the things. Again, just to lay the groundwork, this is just establish the portrait. Next steps over the next 3 to 5 years is integrate this within our culture and our expectations, identify standards or activities, or we can highlight this even by certain grade levels so that we're ensuring our kids are walking across stage with these essential skills to be successful. What kind of questions do you have? Yes.
Board members?
So you're singing from my songbook. This is what I'm trying to get our UAFS students to do every day. So I think that your portrait is great. And I wonder, we have some resources available to us in higher education on integrating that into curriculum and involving faculty.
Right.
And so I don't know if there is a similar organization or a similar framework that would be appropriate for K through 12. I'm happy to look. I mean, mine obviously is going to be higher education focused, but I'm happy to share.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
a lot of it is very similar.
That'd be a great resource.
Yes, absolutely. It's the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And it's a really cool resource that I'm happy
Yeah,
to share.
Absolutely. I'd love to have that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? As per goal 2.6, this requires board approval to move forward to next steps.
Well, I appreciate your aggressiveness and all of your goals this year, Mr. Mahan, and this is something that I look forward to just kind of seeing and also hearing your thoughts on, and it's also somewhat rewarding to see how much people spoke to character, integrity, and personal responsibility and work ethic too. So,
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, I appreciate the kind words, but I really want to make sure you understand I have a great team
Sure.
of people that are working behind the scenes and make things happen. I really appreciate their great work.
Absolutely. Anybody else, board members? Good stuff. That being said, I will entertain a motion to adopt the portrait of a graduate document as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt the portrait of graduate.
Motion by Mr. Harding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garner. It has been moved and seconded to adopt the portrait of a graduate document as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Looks like a unanimous vote of 7-0, 0 opposed. The motion is approved. Next, we will hear two proposals from our Athletics and Activities Department. First will be to implement district-wide digital ticketing, and the second is to consider providing specialty sports support for the next school year. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, Coach Bush will come to present a proposal on going digital at the gate. We have a hybrid model currently, and then also give you kind of some information on return on investment of the approval you all made earlier in the year to finance some of assistance to our minor sports, whether it be golf or tennis, to pay some of our adjunct help, and kind of give you some data on that. I will also probably steal a little thunder here. Understanding we implemented that about the time we were starting to look for a new athletic director. So we had some clunkiness as far as full implementation across our district, but we did see some results where it was implemented and are excited about asking for your approval to move forward with another year of that program. So Coach Bush.
Thank you, President Whitaker, members of the board, Mr. Mahan. I appreciate you letting me be here tonight to talk to you about a couple of proposals. And the first one I'm going to hit you with is going fully digital, cashless, in other words, at our athletics and activities. So some current things that we're kind of seeing that we've seen in the last, this is going on year 2, I believe, to be a hybrid model. At the end of this will be year 2. There's some current challenges. I'll let you take a look at those. The dual system is a little bit inefficient. Some staff, it stretches us trying to manage both of those. Sometimes depending on the sport or event, one person is just cash, but sometimes they are both cash and the digital part, so they're handling an iPad as well as handling cash at the same time. Some reconciliation burdens that happens. The manual entry of cash sales, those still go into the app, even though they're taking cash from those patrons, they still go into the app so that we can get a proper count on those. Of course, counting the cash, that's the next day. That's also taking some time away from our staff, and also, of course, depositing money and things that take a little bit of time. And the error-prone process, of course, can be a part of that. The dual payment management workers manage both digital and cash tickets. I told you that. And then sometimes our bigger football games, we have one person that's dedicated solely just to that cash handling. Depending on the size of the game will happen with that. It increases operational expenses for us as far as staffing goes. So just some revenue benefits of possibly getting or going to this digital only right now. When you go through the GoFan app at one of our events, you pay $5, but we are only getting 4 of that. We are paying the convenience fee for the consumer there. So when this was put together, middle of April, I guess, we had sold 23,131 digital tickets, so essentially we lost $1 on every one of those tickets. It will help reduce the staff workload, of course, without the cash and the handling of that. So a little bit, just an estimated possible financial benefit that we can see from possibly moving on to a new way of doing this. We can eliminate an extra cash handling position at varsity football games. Now, with that being said, the larger football games, we're probably still going to use that person. It would just be straight digital. I don't want to mislead anybody. So faster entry lines, we do think with the scan only and the possibility of having your ticket early will get us through those lines much quicker. And staff can focus on one of those single streamlined process and not having to do the dual process. Some things that districts around us are doing. I called around, sent some emails, text messages, and this is some information that we got. Currently, Rogers and Fayetteville, they are charging $5 plus the fee, so they're paying $6. The consumer is. Bryant, you can see Russellville, Little Rock Public Schools are charging $7. They are taking on that fee. Essentially, they're getting $6 a ticket. And then Conway and North Little Rock are $8. Those are all people that are common opponents for us back down in Central Arkansas. Depending on what conference and what sport you're talking about, we'll see those. I do want to say this, that if there are struggles, it could be with some of our seniors. We want to make sure that everybody is aware we will have those physical passes for anyone 60 years and up. We will have them at all of our gates. Kyle wants to make everybody understand that even at the middle school games, the high school games, we will always have those available. And of course, our offices, especially in the summertime leading into the school year, we will have a physical pass for those folks that they can stop by and get those. And just a side note too, all of the AAA events, state tournament-wise, they use GoFan and they currently charge $8. Some benefits, just to kind of wrap this up, reduce risk. It helps eliminate cash, handling the cash, faster entry, lower staffing cost, a little bit better accountability, and we believe an improved fan experience by getting through those lines. There's nothing more annoying when you're way out, 200 yards and it takes forever to get into a line, especially the early games when it's extremely hot. So some next steps and conclusion, District Communications Office, how we want to communicate this if you do choose to pass this. And the athletics and activities, social media, school programming sharing, modeled after past rollouts and what I thought the bell-to-bell in the past year that you had to go through. That was done in all our districts, and it seemed to, the districts did a really good job of getting that information out. We would push very similar to that to make sure people are aware before we start the school year as far as that goes. So our recommendation is to go fully cashless for all of our athletic ticket sales. Beginning on July 1st, that's when we will start those. That ticket will be $5 plus the convenience fee for a total of $6. So when you do go to the GoFan app, make sure we're clear, it will say $6. Okay? Questions?
Board members. Mr.
So just a few questions for you, sir. Can you talk a little bit about like season passes? What's that going to do for those? Do you have season passes? What are the costs?
They've had some season passes that will change a little bit. I couldn't tell you the cost right now. We'll have to figure that in. If you do choose with the convenience fee, that's a little bit different. They've been selling season passes in the past. What the GoFan app will do, this vendor allows us to choose to sell tickets any way we want, which I believe is a really cool feature. It wasn't worth it when you were still doing the cash, I believe, but we can sell just football tickets to Northside. We can sell just a football season tickets, Northside, Southside. We can sell just middle school athletic events. We can build it however we would like.
Okay. I'd like to see some sort of card program that, you pay, I don't know, $50 or something, and you get a card that's good for anything. I mean, whether it's junior high, Northside, Southside, all sports for all year. That's kind of what I'd like to see. And then I'm a little, I go to concerts and I understand fees, but 20% fee? Anybody else think that's kind of crazy? $1 per ticket? No. It's crazy to me. Clearly I need to come up with an app to pay $1 a ticket. But maybe that's just normal. a 20% fee seems.
Because don't some apps, like, I don't know if it's this similar, but sometimes you get requests from students wanting to donate for something, and so if you donate to their cause or something like that, they charge you, and I don't know if I donate.
Is there any other apps? I mean, have you explored any other thing that's could be, 50 cents a ticket or?
Yes, there's been some other apps used in the past. Ticket Spicket, I believe, is one, and the GoFan app has been Arkansas-wide. I hate to throw out numbers, but it is the majority of the schools that are using GoFan. There are a couple at Siloam Springs I discussed with some. They're a little bit different company that they use, but GoFan with the accountability, the security as well. We know that GoFan has done a really good job, especially with the security part.
Okay.
I do think it's good to stick with GoFan if the other schools are too, because as a mom of a kid who plays all over in those schools, it was so nice to just have one app to be able to buy a ticket in Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Conway, wherever we were going, everybody was using the same app, and so that made it very nice. My only whiny request is that we please make sure that we have good Wi-Fi at all of these places, because you will find us outside the gym going like this, trying to make our phones work so we can buy, because people are going to walk up and they're going to download the app right then if they've never come, and do all of that. And I love Northside and Southside, but like the Wi-Fi, that every kid in there's on their phone. And so if we could up the Wi-Fi a little bit, just knowing that we'll have an increase of people trying to download and buy online. Okay. That's just me being whiny about it.
And I will say on the app and the other, if you download the app, it's very easy to search. If you are going to Fayetteville or Rogers, you just click it in and you can buy those tickets very seamlessly.
It is super easy.
I was just gonna ask how many people are paying with cash, and do you guys do any concessions? Like, would that be impacted anyway?
The concessions is separate. Our booster clubs run the concessions. Depending on the sport, sometimes a sport will run the concession stand. We give them that chance. So are you asking how many tickets did we sell with cash this year? Because I do have that number.
Potential loss of people showing up if they have to download an app. Like, would you advertise before and something like that?
So, and to be clear, they will not have to download the app. They still can, there's a QR code. They don't necessarily have to have the app. It's the better option, of course, easier option, let's say. But there will be, and it has a POS system as well for a debit card. They are adding Cash App as well, so for young people that can be an option. But we did sell, up to this point, these are about a week behind the numbers are, but we've sold about 20,000 tickets, cash tickets this year at all of our activities and athletic events.
All of our junior high and high school students that are involved either in athletics or some sort of activity get a pass, correct?
They get a pass, yes, sir.
So there is a large number of our students who are getting in for free.
Correct.
Anyway. And I know that may not seem significant, but those that do want to be in attendance, because I am a proponent of allowing our students to be able to enjoy the experience of junior high and high school events across the board. But it seems as if a large portion of them are already enjoying that freedom of having a free pass as it is, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And we don't plan on removing that.
So back to you, Mr. Garner. There is a family pass that can be purchased that, since my kids have been playing sports, and it's like 2 adult passes and 2 kid passes for like $250 or something like that's what it was. And that covered all middle school, well, junior high at the time, all junior high and high school sports that were not either benefit or state championships. So you did get a physical pass for each person in your family to carry. I don't know how that'll transcend to something like this, but it has been an option, I know, in Fort Smith School District for 15, 20 years.
I would just like to make sure that somehow, if we want to charge the visitors more, that's fine. But, the local taxpayers that are paying taxes in the district, we're paying for the stadiums that we're literally paying again to go into, right? So that people don't feel like that you're just charging all these fees all the time. That's what I want to make sure, that there's an easier option to get a pass or to, have some way to save some money on, just make it fair for the taxpayer, right?
And I do look forward to, after visiting with the GoFan people 2 or 3 weeks ago, they have lots of options for us. We can build this really any way that we would like, as far as the bundles, if you will, for lack of a better word. whether it be a family pass or a sport pass or a school pass. we
Because it
can
sounds
do
like
that.
we're talking basically $100,000 a year worth of ticket sales based on what you just said. If you've had, 20,000 at $5 a piece or $4 a piece, we're not talking while that's a significant sum, we're not talking millions of dollars here that we're collecting from taxpayers. So, we just need to be good stewards and make sure that people understand they're already paying once for these stadiums and then they're paying again, right? So,
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hall?
Sorry, my head's been in my phone for a few minutes because I was trying to find the season pass advertisement. I finally found it from August of 2025. So you can buy, these were this past year's prices. $50 youth pass. So I guess if you're not involved in any athletics, then you don't get your athletic pass. So $50, one student pass. $125 for one adult all-event pass. And then $300 for 4 passes. Okay, so a couple of things on this. Well, first question, on these passes, do we get to set our own prices for this? And do we have to go through this app to do these passes, or the passes and what we said, is that just a Fort Smith thing?
So what you've been doing in the past, whether it was the family pass, if they were a physical pass, you'd come into the office, pay check, cash, however. If we go through the GoFan app, they can build it for us, and then we will set the price.
Okay, but we can still set our own price, and they can come in, we can do that ourselves like we
Yes.
have been? Okay.
Yes.
I would.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that. Let's talk about the adult all-event pass. Okay, so if I have a child that's involved in an activity, they're gonna get their athletic pass already. But then they have mom and dad that wanna come to the games. So they're gonna have to buy 2 of these adult passes. So there's no package for just 2 adults to go watch their child play. Just throwing that out there, something to
Okay.
think about.
I hope somebody's taking notes. No.
There's no option for just 2 if there's not another sibling or anything, or the sibling is a baby and you don't even have to pay for them to get in. So you're almost spending as much as you would for 4. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay. And then I would love to see our kids, because we've been talking about student involvement at activities and growing our student section at games, getting kids to be present. Yes, we have the kids that are involved in athletics that can come to these events because they get their pass. But what about those that aren't involved in athletics, but they want to come to the game, but they don't have the funds to pay for every game they want to come to? I think we should start having some conversations. I don't know what that's going to look like, but to get these kids at the games at little to no cost for them for these home games, for their home games. I think it's going to boost our student involvement, school pride, community pride, if that's something that we can do for our students. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what that conversation would look like, but I would really like to start entertaining that. We've talked about it for a year, and since we have this presentation going on, I thought it was the perfect time to bring it up. And then my last thing is the gold passes. Is that something that's always been available at every event for
I'm not
60 and
familiar
up?
with it, sorry. Oh, yes.
For
The
60 and up.
60 plus?
So they
Yes,
could
that
show
is-
up at the table and say, I'm 60 years old, can I get my gold pass?
Little animal.
Can we have signs that are posted at the tables?
Sure.
Because I mean, that would include my parents, and I don't think they do about that.
Kyle he came in today, but he said, now, before you go, I want everybody to know we're going to have those passes.
Okay.
He's very adamant about that, and I appreciate him. But we will have them at our office, and our plan is to have them at all the gates as well.
Okay, yeah, if we can have a sign too that says,
Okay.
are you 60 and above? Please show ID, and you can get it for free. That's all I have.
Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think that 60-year-old was only if they were a Fort Smith resident.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Just making sure, because I know some people have parents that are out of town or grandparents out of town. So anybody listening or that, I don't want them to think that just because they have a parent that's in that age category, living in, wherever else, that they get that privilege of being a taxpayer here in Fort Smith, basically.
I have a question. And specifically with this, as a board, how do we feel about charging $5 plus the convenience fee, or charging $6 that includes the convenience fee?
No, it's basically the toggle of a switch. I went through several of these, and some of them say, I'm just going to give you an example, $5 plus $1 convenience fee for a total of $6. Some of them say ticket $6.
I'd rather say tickets.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what we can decide as a board.
It's not normal to pay 20% right? It's like 3% plus a 30-cent fee. I mean, I know you guys may think it's normal, but that's not normal. You imagine going to pay your water bill at OG&E, and if it was $100, they said, okay, well, you go.
Well, but here's the thing, going to a game is completely voluntary.
Yeah, I will tell you at the
You are not
baseball
required
tournaments.
to go to the game.
The travel baseball tournaments,
Yes,
they are now
they're all that
requiring
way.
all digital entry, and there's there's about almost a $2 fee for these
That's also
tickets
not
when you go.
taxpayer funded.
Well, I'm just saying an example.
I get it, but if you paid your OG&E bill or you went to a restaurant, and they said, well, you can use your credit card, but it's 20%. You'd say, what?
I would be curious about our booster clubs at both north side and south side, potentially partnering, offsetting some of those costs for ticket entries, knowing that they benefit at the concession stands, and then also figuring out what community partnerships we could maybe look into as far as just kind of offsetting some of these gate costs. I know that may put some sort of kink in this conversation this evening, but I'm open to thoughts on that. I know that as busy as some of us are and see so many kids that may or may miss out on some of these opportunities, I'm almost trying to figure out if our activity should be free for our students across the board. It's a wild conversation to
Well,
have.
but it's not a new conversation. I mean, this has been brought up before, that if we want our students to come and watch their classmates play ball, wherever that is or however that is, that, yeah, they should have their student ID and be able to get in for free. It's a student activity, it's a student event for their school. I don't know how the numbers work, but I would absolutely be supportive of that if we could make it work.
Okay.
Can we have a presentation on that?
Absolutely. I will say this, I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, so just to be clear, choir, band, orchestra, activities, all those students have access to a free pass currently. Spirit squads.
Correct.
For sports they're not participating in. And so keep that in mind. Also, the part we sometimes miss, because I had a conversation at one of our football games this year, and they were a little concerned about just not a huge turnout in the student section, but I counted the student section, and we had a couple hundred kids there, but then I counted all the kids on the field, the band, the spirit squads, the people dressed out. It's a pretty significant number. So sometimes I think we can look at the student section and feel like they're not coming, but a lot of them are actually on the field if you just count up all those individuals. So, but we certainly can do a presentation on the total percent of those students that already have access to a free pass. We're speaking 6 through 12.
And I know that probably elongates this conversation, at least another board meeting, but it seems as if there's at least enough conversation to potentially maybe table this for the time being. I mean, tell me no if you'd like to. I mean, this is.
Well, I mean, I think we can still proceed with going. Do we need to approve you using GoFan? Is that what we need to do this
Approve
evening?
going fully digital.
Oh,
and
I mean, I think we
cash.
can still do that
Sure.
this
That's fair.
evening, but
Yeah.
then have a
Certainly, and if
conversation of
we decide, if you
student
decide
passes.
as a board to come back where all students, yeah, we can make that happen with the passes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to open up the floor to entertain a motion to approve a cashless ticketing system. That would assume the price at $6
Okay.
for athletic and activity events as presented. So I don't mind to read that again. This is only entertaining a motion to approve a cashless ticketing system for athletic activity and events as presented. Before I entertain a motion, that gives us the opportunity to have conversation about what it may look like moving forward for student entry. But for the time being, this is only cashless ticketing system.
Would you, like, say we approved it, right? And then afterwards, you kind of got to see what it would be like and if people improved in going, or if you had numbers down, would we be able to present that later on to be able to
Absolutely.
change it? Like a, kind of like a trial basis, or would that be too costly to even do? Like, once you implement it, that's something we're just doing?
I think there's always ways to come back and entertain.
I mean,
to get
essentially,
better.
we're in April, and if this were to go into effect July 1, I don't necessarily think that making it an August 1 effect date would necessarily be too detrimental.
No, I
We'll
think she just
start ticket
means,
sales July 1. That's why we'll
Right.
just start for 26, 27. We will start
Yeah.
those ticket sales on
so,
July 1.
but maybe a year from now, you come
Yes.
back and tell us like, hey, this has gone great, it's been awesome, or hey, we found these kinks, we found these things that we can improve, maybe, is
Even
that what you
get-
meant?
Yeah, and
Okay.
even get like people that attend, like their feedback on, is it better? Is everybody just?
Sure.
Surveys.
Motion to go cashless for all ticket sales, athletic activities.
Motion to approve by Mr. Harding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lot and
Give it to Ms. Lott.
by Ms. Lot. It has been moved and seconded to approve a cashless ticketing system for athletic and activities as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll give you a year, Rusty. I want to see it in a year.
7.
April of next year.
That does pass unanimously, 7-0, 0 opposed. Thank you. If you just carry on into your next presentation.
Okay, next presentation. I believe it was July of last year, the Board of Education approved some money for specialty sports, and we're going to talk about the return on investment from those. Just a little bit of the overview. There were some people, I think, not on the board, and to remind everyone kind of what this initiative was about, to address some critical gaps and to some high-level instruction in some of our non-core specialty sports, minor sports, however you would like to define that, and try to boost some performance. We think it would enhance athlete performance and program quality while also maintaining the existing coaching structures and the volunteer systems that we have. There was $90,000 that was allocated for 4 different reasons: some small group instruction, large group clinics, individual lessons, and of course some coach professional development possibly in that. Some skill development that we saw, we've surveyed, Ms. Steele surveyed our coaches and our directors and what was impacted here. Nearly all the programs reported some type of improvement of athlete skills. The certified and professional instructors ensured high-quality training, and our coaches saw gains in performance, confidence, and execution. It looks like some of those quotes there at the bottom, a little bit small, but I'll let you read those. The one that I think was a little overwhelming, I was telling Mr. Mahan, you can see the golf one, it's second to the bottom. One of our golf programs over the course of a season, so from the very beginning, the first time that they went to the course, their team went from 98 over to 48 over after getting a personal trainer to come out there. Personal trainer is probably not the right word, a golf pro to help them with that. They had one group had a national champion serve as a specialist. So the confidence that our student athletes can get from those people. And also remember that some of our coaches that may be getting into the business, maybe they're just trying to help us out, haven't been around the particular sport, and it gives them a chance to get some professional development and learn from that expert. So some programs impacted. Mr. Mahan alluded to this just a little bit, some spirit teams at those 3 middle schools, and that's the money that has been spent, Northside tennis, soccer. I'll let you read that. So at this current time, $15,084 have been spent. Now, $11,000 is kind of what is still out there. We have track going on. We have some spring soccer still being used. We think that there will be about $11,000 still to spend out of that money. So around the $26,000 range of the $90,000. And you say, well, we didn't use very much of it. And he mentioned that early. So it was done July, I believe, when it was approved in the last administration. And I've had some conversations with maybe some lack of communication, not getting some things out. So we would like to, get another chance at that to help our coaches as well. I think that the information is out there. They know where they can seek help. They know that there are funds available that they are able to use. So athletes impacted per program range from anywhere from a small group to a very large group. Without funding, some of this cost shifts to families. It reduces access and creating disparities. I've said this many, many times. There are our opponents, the people that our kids are competing against in other places, have lots of resources for personal trainers, the experts in their fields, whether it be a golf expert, a tennis expert, tennis coach, people with some professional credentials. This investment ensures equitable opportunities for especially sports student athletes regardless of those resources. So we are asking the next steps, the funding is directly improving performance. We've seen that, expanding access, and of course, strengthening some of our programs. We believe continuing this funding ensures equity, competitiveness, and sustained growth for our student athletes. It is our recommendation that we continue with this investment to maintain and grow those positive outcomes for the Fort Smith Schools, especially sports programs. And I will tell you that just getting into the job, and if we're given this opportunity again, I will for sure get some education to our coaches, let them know that this money is allocated for some extra help. So I think the information is getting out there. It's just a little bit late for some of them to be able to use it. So, questions?
This was introduced, if I'm not mistaken, round about the time of our exit of our previous athletic director. So that being said, if we do have the funds available and set aside for it, I'd like to make sure that we utilize them as much as possible, because we live in a wild day of competitive edge everywhere. That may be the loss of students in and out of our district and so on. So, I was a proponent then, and I'm a proponent now.
What accountability do we have, or that you saw? I know you're coming into this new, but if an opportunity is presented for an athlete or a group of athletes, do they self-select into, or is it offered to them with a coach seeing an opportunity? How's the accountability with?
So the coach would find the person. Is that what I think? That's what
Yeah. Is a student athlete like asking for it, or is the coach seeing opportunity and putting funds there?
The coach is seeking out the opportunities. A lot of times, you probably can see this. We have lots of people in the community that reach out that want to help in different areas. Some of them it's their business. Some of them are just, maybe they're tennis pros or golf pros or bowling experts that just want to help our kids. They see that, some of our programs may be lacking just a little bit and want to help. And so Ms. Still and myself, we will, and she did this previously, but we'll visit with those folks and feel like if they're a good fit to help our student athletes. And the tennis coach was in the office a couple of weeks ago and brought a new person, one of the pros here in town that introduced, wanted to help a little bit, so.
Yeah, so is there like you kind of started to hit on it just a little bit, but is there like an application process, or how does this get, how does a coach get this person approved or the activity approved to get the ball rolling?
Right, so they will bring that person to us. If they meet them, whether it be an email or phone call, they will bring that person to us. We'll have a short little interview process, get their background, see where their experience lies. And then we'll go from there. So depending on what they do, if they own their own business, we may not have to go through the background check process of it, but a lot of times they'll go through the Dragonfly process just like a volunteer to make sure that they're clean there.
So are they like a 1099 employee, or we make a payment to, I guess it depends on if it's a business or if it's a person, and so there's some sort of agreement there?
It would be a 1099.
Okay. Okay. And then my other question is, so we allocated a certain amount of money and we didn't spend it all. Does that money still hang out there in that same spot, or does it go away June 30th and July when we start over? Like,
we desire not to roll it over to the next year.
I kind of figured you'd say that.
Per se.
Okay.
It's more of a budget allocation.
Okay.
That would go away if it was not spent.
Okay. So this evening, what would we need to do?
We're requesting another year approval. It was presented as a pilot program last year,
Okay.
and requesting another year with an update this time next year, and another recommendation of how to proceed.
And that amount is 90,000 for this next year?
Yes, sir, same amount.
How are we going to grade performance from?
Say that.
How are we going to grade performance from athletes and clubs and organizations moving forward as far as accolades this year versus this coming year?
I think it's the same way. You visit with coaches, you put out surveys, you have conversations to see where the improvement is, to make sure that it's all about data, whether it's a performance training or it's a tennis pro or a golf pro, what results are you seeing from beginning to very end? So just like we did this year, we will want to know the improvements. I talked to one of our coaches the other day that I haven't got the information back that did the performance training part of it. So I want to know if you went in to work on jumping ability, you know, where did your vertical jump, how much higher did it get? How many of them saw improvement? What was the broad jump improvement? What was the triple jump improvement? Whatever the sport, you know, allows there, what are we looking for? And why did they get that person? What was the reasoning for bringing that? Was it to knock strokes off the game? Was it to make athletic performance better? That's what we're looking for. So we'll look for that data.
I remember when you presented and we talked about it being available for a lot of students, not necessarily just the best athletes. Are you thinking about doing that this year, or is it just, it sounds like it's just students already actively in sports that are already doing well and then just getting them more advancement, is that right?
Yeah, so it's available to all, for those programs that it's allotted to. There's just a couple that is not. Those, when it says 5, well, that might be the golf team. Or it says 50, well, that might be the volleyball team. So the coach is going to bring those, and he's going to have access and are going to give access to all of his athletes, yes, or her athletes.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so for next year, one of the things I'd like to see along with that also, instead of just the team, spirit teams, tennis, the number of the athletes that are being affected for each of those also.
Okay.
That way we know if there's, you know, more here or less there, just to get an idea on how many student athletes are being affected by this or enhanced.
Absolutely.
And I bouncing off that, I would like to know, like, what did they use it for? Because you're seeing numbers of like 2,800 all the way down to 370. And if this is something we're trying to progress their skill, and if I'm putting a dollar amount on it, I mean, I feel like you're going to get more progression and skill out of $2,800 than you will $370. So it's like, I want to know what did they spend it on? How was that spent? And it could just be a generic example, but I mean, yeah, what did they spend that on? Because that's a big difference. And those, yeah, I'm interested to see that.
Like a summary of the activities?
Yeah, summary of
We can get that, absolutely.
Just an itemization. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right on. Anybody else? Questions, concerns, comments?
I may be misunderstanding how the funding is issued. I was just wondering why Darby was the only junior high that didn't receive any.
They didn't use it. They didn't choose to use it.
They just didn't, they
Yeah,
chose
they
to
just
not
didn't use it.
utilize it or use it.
So with that, does that mean that maybe there needs to be more promotion to different schools?
Absolutely.
Like maybe you need to go out and kind of, hey, this money's allowed for all these sports.
Right.
Get more people to sign up, especially those
100%.
areas?
It will be up to me.
Again,
To-
this
to
is,
present that.
this was upon the exit of our, this was. and-
Right, we
and
didn't
this
have an
was- this-
athletic
this was-
director during
this was
that
int-
time
This
to
was
do that.
introduced right upon our previous athletic director's exit, so.
Takes a bit to get going.
And it was,
Implementation was subpar.
and it was very new. This past year was the very first year we ever did it, and not everyone may have known about it or how to access the funds or who to communicate with, because then at the time we had an interim athletic director, but it'll be better this year in communicating, getting word out, how to utilize the funds, who to contact, so forth and so on. So hopefully we have every school represented up here the next time we see
Well, I mean,
this.
this is a year-by-year basis, so we.
Yeah, and I will say this,
If we
because I
don't agree
missed
to
it
it
with
next
Ms.
year,
Still
then we
about-
just simply
like, it
don't
was
approve
not
of it
even,
next year.
didn't have the ability to be presented to the entire, I mean, when they put it out, it was emails and that type of information. When we meet as a entire athletic and activity staff in the summer, this will
Right.
be part of that.
Mr. Mahan?
Just wanted to clarify, this is a private meeting in a public forum, just for clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Mahan. Anybody else? That said, I will now entertain a motion to approve specialty sports support recommendation of $3,000 per single sport for the 2026-27 school year.
What was that amount?
$3,000?
Per, yeah, per.
It's,
3,000
it's read
per-
as such, 3,000 per sport.
Okay, got it. With the
Gosh.
sum of 90,000.
To the sum of $90,000, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Yep, absolutely. Moved by Ms. Kraft, second by Mr. Garner. Has been moved and seconded to approve the specialty sports support recommendation. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. That is approved 7-0, with 0 opposed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Next, we'll hear from an update on the summer learning opportunities offered to our Fort Smith Public School students. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, we have a long tradition of providing a lot of summer opportunities for our students, and Dr. Mitten will bring you a presentation concerning that this evening.
Yes, good evening, President Whitaker, Mr. Mahan, school board members. This month's student academic achievement presentation includes 3 different items. The first is the summer extended learning opportunities. I believe you each received this document, and if you were able to click on the check marks, you would see additional details regarding each one of these supports. This also includes the locations of the schools where we provide free breakfast and lunch. The one I really want to highlight, though, is reading, and that is an opportunity for students who receive a score, 3rd grade students who receive a score of level 1 on the state summative exam to participate in 4 weeks of intensive targeted support specific to those areas when they were assessed that they were struggling with. Any questions? Okay. The next presentation pertains to student work samples. Great, you got it. Thank you. This is an analysis of student work samples that were collected in March. Most importantly, it's a comparison to those that were collected in March with the ones that were collected in October. When this work is analyzed, there are 3 major areas that we are most interested in. One is content, and that has to do with how aligned is the work with the standards, the grade level standards, our essential standards. Then we look at context. Is it classroom or test-like, or is it more real-world, meaningful writing kinds of work samples? And then cognitive demand, that has to do with the rigor of the work that was presented or shared with us, specifically in relation to the rigor required in the standard. God bless you. This is the analysis of work that was collected in October with the work that was collected in March. And the first area we look at is content alignment with our standards. The work samples that were provided, were they aligned with the standards that the teacher was delivering grade level instruction on? And so when I look at ELA, math, and science, I first look at those 2 bars, the very first 2 bars, the blue and the green. So with regard to alignment with the standards, we want the green to go up, right? And then correspondingly, the other areas go down. So kudos. Great job with regard to alignment of instruction/work samples with the standards that our teachers are teaching at the tested grade levels. The next area is context. And again, that's looking at test-like or classroom-like in comparison to real-world or meaningful writing. So with regard to this chart, I am looking for the green to go down. I want to see that the percent of work collected is not as much classroom wrote test-like as it is real-world or meaningful. The third and final area is cognitive demand, or rigor of the work. When you look at this chart, what you will see at the first two bars, again, the first two are the ones that I draw my attention to, blue and green. I want the low cognitive demand to have decreased in March, right? In ELA, math, and science. In each of those three content areas, the rigor of the work, as far as being lower level, increased. And you might say, well, how is that if the context of the work showed that it was more real world or more meaningful writing? That is true. It just wasn't at the rigor of the standard. Now, a couple of thoughts regarding that. In March, there are times that the work may be more reflective of a skill or drill in preparation for the summative assessment. We just have to make sure that the work that students are being assigned or asked to participate in, that's fine for it to be test-like. It just has to be at the rigor of the assessment that they take at the end of the year. So with that said, there are some celebrations. The alignment with content, that was a real celebration for ELA and science, really increased that alignment. Math stayed strong with regard to alignment of student work and the essential standards. In all three areas, we increased the percent of real-world work and meaningful writing. So those are some celebrations for 25-26. One of the sole focuses, or the focus for 26-27 is cognitive demand, and cognitive demand. And so we want to provide additional supports for our teachers so that alignment is spot on. And context, the activities, the assignments are more real world. We want to continue to elevate the rigor. Any questions?
Thank you, board members.
Okay, there's just one more presentation. And this is something Mr. Mahan referenced earlier today in the board meeting, and that has to do with piloting PITSCO. And PITSCO, thank you. PITSCO is a STEM focus, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's a focus system that relies highly on investigative work that the students do. Hands-on, meaningful learning, they're called missions, and it really does task the student to be researchers and investigators. There's also an opportunity or an alignment with early career exposure and exploration. When we pilot PITSCO, we receive access to their platform, their learning platform, that does have investigations, assignments, missions that are at a very high level of rigor for each one of the grade levels, K-5. In summary, this PITSCO would be piloted at Bonneville in grades K through 5. You can see the approximate cost. I've already referenced what we have access to and the cost for year 2. Year 1 cost is significantly higher than year 2 because that's when we purchase the materials that accompany the missions or the investigations. Year 2 is some replacement costs. Any questions? Thank you very much, Board.
So the cost for this spread across the award would be that would have been 78,000 times the amount of elementary schools, we have, am I understanding that correctly?
For 6 classrooms
Okay.
at any one elementary school, because this represents the cost at 6 classrooms. And in part, that's why we are piloting it,
Right.
so that we can move forward or not based upon the return on investment.
And as we assess the product, I mean, of course, we've already done a lot of investigation on it. It's a very desirable manipulative-based programming that will fit the Global Innovation Academy. But as we assess the cost, as I mentioned earlier, I have some concerns about the cost over a broader scale. That's why I want to pivot this goal and change it. But this may be something we find, and may not. It may be something that's specific to the academy at the elementary school as we learn more about the process.
And what's the company name, I'm sorry?
You know, it's PITSCO, and
Okay.
it doesn't stand for a thing. It was originated in Pittsburgh, so they call it PITSCO. It's not a
Okay.
person, it's not an acronym.
In the world of education, there's acronyms for everything.
I know.
except PITSCO.
Yes,
That's
yes,
wild.
and this is not.
Board members, anything else? Last 3 presentations were information items only, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Board will now go into executive session to discuss pre-litigation and a personnel matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna, you say go to the bathroom?
We have board members forum. Just to make note, May's regularly scheduled board meeting will be May 18th, 2026 at 5:30. That will be the Monday following Northside and Southside's graduation. So if I come in a little puffy-eyed, it's because my two twin daughters are walking across the stage, and I'll probably be a little emotional still. That being said, board members, any other items you would like to request bringing forward this time? Questions, comments, concerns? Let's start down the road here. Mr. Harding.
Nothing from me today.
Ms. Lott.
Thank you for everybody who had something to say today. There's always a lot that goes into that. We truly appreciate it. Appreciate the rapid fire questions that some of us had during this board meeting and your patience with us too.
Ms. Hall.
Pray for no rain for graduation, for both graduations. That's all I've got.
Ms. Graft.
So Mr. Harding, Ms. Lott, and Mr. Whitaker, all three have children graduating, yes? Yours graduate, yeah, okay, so congratulations, Mom and
Yep.
Dads.
Thank you.
Good for y'all. We'll be excited to see your kids walk across the stage. Yes, no rain, I hope for no rain as well. It'll be a great night.
Ms. Martinez.
Thank you for all the presenters and the lady that spoke. And that's all.
Yep. Mr. Garner.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. We will entertain conversation with our administration. To our guests from citizens participation, we take everything seriously up here as a board. We do think that our students and our faculty, staff, personnel all deserve the best, and so that is the expectation here at Fort Smith Public Schools. So that being said, it's still sunlight outside. Go enjoy some sunshine, and we will see you all next week. Meeting adjourned.